Hello everyone and welcome to another live protocol video. So on this video we're gonna take a deep dive inside the mind of Mr. Joe Rogan, and to a larger extent the ESTP personality type. Let's go. Let's start with a disclaimer by saying that not all ESTPs will be exactly the same, but it does mean that all ESTPs will use the same operating system. But as more life experiences accumulate, the more everyone forms their own unique personality and identity. So similar to trees, we all have the main trunk that acts like the tree's structural backbone. You won't find the tree with the same exact branch configuration. So we all have this trunk, but our branches, they're all unique and different from each other. So let's analyze the first cognitive function of the ESTPs, and that is extroverted sensing, or SE. So this is what makes the great majority of what this so-called operating system or trunk is. So it is my belief that extroverted sensing stems primarily from the trauma of being caged, incarcerated, or trapped. So basically the feeling of having your freedom completely stripped away from you. This doesn't mean that ESTPs and ESFPs, for that matter, because both lead with extroverted sensing, had to have felt this trauma in their lives. They were simply born this way. It is also my belief that human evolution gave rise to 8 different distinct types of brains, or 8 main different ways the human brain works. Extroverted sensing, or the trauma of incarceration, is one of those 8. And why do I believe traumas are responsible for molding our minds? Because only a sufficiently damaging or powerful enough emotion has the capacity to leave a deep and everlasting impression on the brain. So these impressions are passed down from generation to generation, refining and evolving the operating system, although the stigma still lies in the subconscious. So SE, or the trauma of incarceration as I call it, creates a person that will base their entire lives on never having to have their freedom compromised. They have an uncontrollable urge to live and experience life. That's why sensorial experiences are almost irresistible to them. Extroverted sensing craves freedom and experiences. That is why it would be very hard for Joe Rogan to feel satisfied working a regular 9-to-5 job. This can sometimes even work against ESTPs because they sacrifice the future they might have in favor of living in the present. So planning always loses against experiencing the present. In fact, thinking about the future is scary to them. That is one of the reasons why they are so susceptible to conspiracy theories. That and the fear of having their freedom taken away from them. So ESTPs and ESFPs will be the first types to resist any sort of imposition. I'm talking, for example, vaccine mandates. So talking about conspiracy theories and strangeness, Joe Rogan opened a comedy club called The Mothership. So, and if that doesn't speak for itself, just go listen to or watch one of his episodes, one of his podcast episodes with Elon Musk. I really recommend it, they're fascinating. Not to mention all the paraphernalia in his studio. He is proud of his curiosity, and rightfully so. So now let's dive into his second cognitive function, or secondary way his mind is greatly influenced. So, and that cognitive function is called introverted thinking, or TI, or what I like to call injustice. People with very strong introverted thinking tendencies, they cannot handle witnessing injustice. I know that most people don't like injustice, but few will jump to correct it as fiercely as the ESTPs do. Introverted thinking seeks to correct faulty and disingenuous arguments. Another good word for it would be logic. So Joe Rogan, as well as other ESTPs, aim to stop the bullshit. By the way, TI, or introverted thinking, and TE, extroverted thinking, are masculine traits. Thinking traits are masculine traits. That is why ESTP women are more masculine women. Just a side note. All ESTPs, including Joe Rogan, are double masculine. SE and TI, the extroverted sensing and introverted thinking combination, means they're extra energetic and extra masculine. So what does Joe Rogan do, or does, above everything else? He calls out bullshit like no one else, and he looks for the underlying causes and reasons of things. So he conducts his interviews by being objective, and he always looks to find the logic behind things. So he does it in a genuine way because logic is impartial and unbiased. He really wants to get to the truth of things, to the bottom of things, and he does it without pushing his own beliefs or biases. So there's genuine underlying curiosity to introverted thinking. So Joe looks above all to find the whys and the how. But there's another reason why Joe Rogan is on this quest for knowledge, and it's not because of his logical side. So this reason is a little bit more sinister and a little bit harder to digest. So pay attention. So remember his first cognitive function of SE, or extroverted sensing, or the fear of incarceration? It turns out that every function has its opposite function. They are interlinked. They are joined together like two sides of the same coin. And in the case of SE, extroverted sensing, the function that lies in its opposition is called NI, or introverted intuition, or how I like to call it, betrayal. So among other things, one of the strongest characteristics of NI, or introverted intuition, is the focus on the future. So because ESTPs have it as their repressed function, it is underdeveloped, so it manifests as anxiety or fear of the future. So Joe is scared of what the future might bring. I would go as far as saying that that fear becomes crippling anxiety if not catered to. So that might be very well the reason why he works out so extensively, or why he takes such good care of his body. He is actively trying to prevent the future from arriving. In other words, he is on a quest to undermine his operating system, as we all are. We all look to fix the broken parts of ourselves. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there are 8 ways our brains work. These 8 ways are traumas and what dictates how our operating systems work. Because as human beings, we are not running towards happiness. What we're doing instead is constantly trying to fill the holes or the flaws that exist in our psyche. But as you may have noticed, we talked about 3 of the functions that actively make up Joe's mind, or the operating system of the ESTP, but we left one out, and that function is FE, or extroverted feeling. This one is a feminine trait, so as I like to call this one, maternal instinct. But even though maternal instinct doesn't actively qualify as trauma, it is in itself an over-exaggeration emotion, and some may say one of the strongest emotions people as well as animals are able to experience, perfectly capable of having the same impact, if not greater, than what a trauma would cause on the brain. So this maternal instinct is empathetic. It is what leads Joe to want to make others feel at ease. It looks to put an end to conflict and to take care of his tribe. So Joe Rogan is a great example of what an overdeveloped third slot extroverted feeling looks like, because these functions can be developed. It's called nurturing. Our operating system, nature, our life experiences, our nurture. So he really cares about his friends and the people who come to him free of bullshit. So let's summarize. SE, freedom above all else, focused on living life and experiencing the moment. TI, introverted thinking, calling out bullshit and looking for the underlying truth. FE, extroverted feeling, camaraderie, helping, taking care and protecting people who are genuine people. And I, introverted intuition, anxiety about the future, conspiracy theories. And that's Joe Rogan, in my opinion.
If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. That will allow us to keep making more videos like this. For more related content, please click on one of the suggested videos. Thank you for watching.